Hi, this is Tammy with Talking with Tam on September 24th, 2011. I'd like to welcome all of you to my podcast and hope that all of you enjoyed your second day of fall. The breaking news this afternoon is that Herman Cain has won the Florida straw poll. I do not believe that anyone, quote, saw this coming, so to speak. I feel that many of the Republicans thought that Rick Perry would be the for sure shoe-in. I had at first refused to watch the Republican debate on Fox News, but couldn't help but watch the last few minutes, and after watching it, I am honest to say to all of you, I'm not surprised that Rick Perry did not win the straw poll. But I will say I was slightly surprised that Herman Cain had won the straw poll. He, according to the numbers that I pulled up just a few minutes ago before coming on, his percentage was 30%. No, I take that back, 37%. Rick Perry was 15%. Mitt Romney was 14%. Rick Santorum was 10%. Ron Paul was 10%. Newt Gingrich was 8%. John Huntsman 2%. And Michelle Bachmann 1%. I guess my question to Michelle is it time for her to get off the train? I am really questioning if it would be worth her money and time now to continue on, or is she going to go ahead and drag this out? In my humble opinion, I don't think she has a chance, and maybe her best bet would be go ahead and bail out and get behind somebody that she feels like she can support. Herman Cain, he has what he calls the 999, which is dealing with how he would deal with the economy. And you can go onto his website and read that. I pulled it up. It's about 2 pages if you want to take a look at that and see what he has to say. It might be worth your time to review and see what you think of his plan. So I keep holding out for someone like Chris Christie to jump in, but as the days drag on, I have a feeling this is who we have to choose from if you're a Republican. So should be interesting to see if someone jumps in here at the last minute, so to speak, or what will happen. I like Mr. Cain. I think he's a little different. He's not your typical politician. Matter of fact, I don't think he is a politician. So I find him interesting, and it's nice to have him in the bunch. And I find him kind of funny, which I think has its merits when it comes to politics. So you can't take yourself seriously all the time. It's good to have a little bit of sense of humor. So the other group, I was watching CNN this last week, and there was a gentleman that used to work with, I want to say was Mr. McCain, but don't quote me. He is now working with this group called No Labels. A lot of you probably know about this group. This is the first time I've heard about it. It started back in December of 2010, and it seems like they're picking up some momentum. I think one reason they may be picking up some momentum is that there are a lot of people out there that have had it with the Tea Party group. And I think some of the people that originally started out with the Tea Party group have now backed out or off that train, so to speak, and some are turning to this No Labels. Which, as someone brought up to me, then it actually is a label, which is true. But check them out, www.nolabels.org. I'm still doing some investigating with that group, and feel free to give me your thoughts on that. If there are any of you that are involved with this group, it appears that they are now set up in every state. So they're definitely growing, and will be interesting to see how their effort forges ahead in the coming months. They expect to have their big convention in July of 2012 down in Orlando. So let's keep an eye on them. I think we may have some more to discuss about this group, but I don't feel comfortable yet until I get a better grasp on what they are and do some more investigating, but they intrigue me is what I'm trying to say. So I'm encouraging you to do some investigation, get through all the junk, and see what they're really about. And if you guys know of them, know people involved with this group, feel free to post on my Facebook page, Talking with Tam. You can private message me on there also if you don't feel comfortable placing it on my wall. And I guess the other news that I would like to talk about today is our education system. And I only have about 9 minutes left, so I'm not going to go into great details about this, but I've been fairly involved in various things in education and trying to help forge ahead with getting students what they need. And I've sat on boards and usually worked in that arena, have been into the classrooms, and have done a little bit, but mainly behind the scenes trying to help keep things going, so that other people can work in those areas. So I guess my question to you is there's a big debate nowadays. There's a lot of the Tea Party group that feel like public education needs to be abolished. I'd say there's probably some, quote, liberals, Democrats, probably on that same side. I'm not saying it's one party over the other. There are some that feel like we just need to get rid of public education. I grew up in the public education, went to public schools, and I feel like I went to a good school, got a good foundation, and then went on to further my education as a physical therapist assistant. There are many areas in our country that the public education system is not doing justice for our children. And that's on, I would say, two extremes. You have the middle of the road kids, which I'm one of those. I'm your average kid that had to work really hard to get what I needed, and I lacked in other areas. And I will say that I lacked in other areas because I didn't have the foundation that I needed, and then struggled through college. And so had to have tutoring and things. And that's because I feel like I didn't get a good foundation, and that would be math. Calculus and all that was not my thing, and I don't feel like I got the basic foundation I should have had. So we could debate that all day long and why that was and what happened, but eventually I feel like I got there, but I am no math guru by any means. So we have in our, I think, public education system, you have what we call you have the middle of the road, then you have the high achieving children, and then the children that are struggling at the other end. And so the public spectrum has a lot of responsibility. They have to try to help all areas. And I think some children are left out or behind because the public education system feels like they have to triage like a hospital does. And so they're triaging in who they can help and who they can't help. And so my question to all of you, and I'm being really serious because I've spent a lot of years, I'm not a teacher I'm not a teacher. I teach my patients how to do certain programs, and that's mine. And I'm a mother, and I help my children maneuver through things. But do you feel like public education is going to be a thing of the past? Many of you are homeschooling your children now. You're pulling them out. Many of you are sending your children to private schools. Some of you in areas like where I live, we don't have much choice. For us, public school is probably the only choice we have at this point. There are some private schools, and there's homeschooling. So, and if it's kind of like the women, those of us that work out, quote, outside of the house feel very strongly about certain things, and those that are stay-at-home moms, they feel very strongly about their position. And I think that's how it is in education. The ones that homeschool are very adamant how they feel. The people that have their children in private schools feel very strongly about their decision, and those of us that have our children in public schools feel very strongly why we still have our children in public schools. So I think with 5 minutes left, what I would like all of you to do is to let me know what you think. Where are we headed? It's like I sat and talked to a assistant superintendent not too long ago, and I asked him, will my child be ready to be competitive in the global market? And that's my question. We are no longer tied down to a certain county, a certain state, or even a certain country. And I think that our economy shows that our children need to be globally ready, if that makes sense. Maybe I didn't say that right. And I also am very strong, have very strong opinion about, I'm very much for college, but I also think there is a definite area that this country is about to lose control of, and that's our specialty trades. I think for so many years we have pushed college and higher education, but we also haven't focused in on the trades, as in plumbers, electricians, welders, painters, all different aspects. And a lot of those take college education of some sort. So it's not like you go out of high school and then that's it and you go become. You can do some, you know, shadowing and on-the-job training and things like that. But a lot of those, to be honest, do take some college education, higher skills, higher math skills, etc. And I think our country's attitude towards the trades needs to change. We have had, I think, a negative attitude towards that. So a lot of young adults have decided not to go into that. But I think those trades can lead to very productive lives, and there's a lot of areas you can go into, and it's an enjoyable field to go into. And my prediction is if we don't start focusing on those pretty quick, and there's been numerous articles that I've read and listened to newscasts on, etc., that we're going to have a huge shortage in the very near future. And then, folks, what's going to happen is we'll have to have people come in from overseas to do our jobs, because they will be well prepared and we won't. And then there's jobs gone. Again, they're even on our own soil. So give me your thoughts on that. Give me your thoughts on public education. Check out the nolabels.org. Let me know what your thoughts are on Herman Cain's 999 program. And also let me know what your thoughts on President Obama's proposals that he's been bringing out and how the reactions have been. I know there's a lot going on that I haven't covered. Example, FEMA, No Child Left Behind opt-out. There's a lot that we could talk about. But again, I want to keep it under 15 minutes due to my YouTube time limit. So thank you for coming to listen to Talking with Tam. Give me your comments through my Facebook page, Talking with Tam. You can put private message me or go ahead and put it on the wall, and I'll be back with you soon because I'm looking forward to discussing some of the comments made. Have a good evening.